Hey, what's going on, everybody? 27 days till Ironman Louisville. It's getting down to the nitty gritty. And I just came in from one semi weekend of hell. It was good, though. It was good. There was 3 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And one of those days was awful. And that day was Saturday. So Friday, I went to the pool and I put in uh, 4,000 meters as 500s until so 6 500s with a minute break, and then the last 1,000 I swam straight. It was mainly quote unquote what I felt like was my race pace effort, um, and the last 50 or 100 of each 500 set I would swim all out or as hard, hard, maybe not all out, but then I take a minute and then whatever. But the whole point was like for me to A, get used to or keep getting used to distance and swimming a long time, and B, mixing in some hard efforts in those 500 sets because you never know, when you're going to have to kind of turn it up a notch to get away from some people or get through some current or whatever the case may be. So that's that. And then I wanted to do that last 1,000 as straight out because that's usually when I kind of crash and burn. And the end of those Ironman swims, about 500 to 1,000 meters out, I start getting tired. Jamie, 27 days, my man. How you doing? You hanging in there, crushing it? Um, yeah. So that was Friday, 4,000. I swam pretty much the distance of the race, and Saturday we met at Natchez Trace at 6 a.m. and it was dark. And we went out for what was supposed to be between, I guess, 5 to 6 hours, and yours truly made it 4.5 because I was just in a bad place. I don't know if it was because I was the swim the day before, or I'm just tired, or I didn't sleep well, or whatever the case was. But for all of you out there, oh, you already swam, man. See, for anyway, so Saturday on that long ride, I ended up going 4.5 hours, and I just sort of did this back and forth kind of 20-mile loop or whatever. It was close to 80 miles, and with 5,300 feet of gain in 80 miles, so that was a good ride. But I just felt terrible. I was trying out my new power meter for the first time, kind of on hilly terrain and varying terrain. And I got to say, it was very troublesome. I got kind of sucked into, the numbers and thinking about what I was doing rather than just riding. So so it turned out like I was really struggling. And I don't think it was totally that. It was just that I didn't feel good, And then compounding that problem was the fact that I was trying to be a human calculating machine and trying to figure out how to ride this power meter, and I was all over the board. So it was just kind of frustrating. But I mean, for all of those that you who struggle and hit these weird spots, I just want to keep you optimistic because it was I was in a very dark place. I mean, I mean that seriously. I don't know if you've ever had rides, but I went into a dark hole. I kind of lost some people, and I was out there riding by myself. It was windy. It was tough. I was trying to stick with this power meter thing, and it just was not fun. I biking is probably my strength out of all the three. It's just my history, and whether it be through mountain biking or just riding a lot when I was a kid, I'm very comfortable on a bike in general. But this particular day just really wrecked me, and I got into a bad place. It's like, man, I don't know. And then we had another 4-hour ride scheduled on Sunday, and the whole time I was just thinking about this is the last thing I want to do is be riding my bike right now, and then to think about doing it tomorrow, that's a bad, feeling. So I I kind of just did that, and then I had a 45-minute run off the bike. So I rode 80 miles and ran, whatever. I guess it was 40 minutes. So I ran about 4 miles on the trace, and I was going to do it later, but I decided just to run off the bike and see how it feels. And frankly, it was hot, and I didn't feel that great anyway, but hung in there and did it and did not feel good. And I'm not kidding. I don't know if that's happened to you, but like sometimes I was driving home and I was like, man, I do not feel like I should be driving a couple times. I just sort of spaced out or whatever. I was just low and whatever. And I thought I had fueled right for that day in the morning and everything like that, but it just didn't come together. So I just got home and then, watched some football, watched the Badgers lose to BYU, which is just, you know, it's not worth it anyway. I mean, Alabama, can anybody beat them? Well, I mean, why do we even, we're going to go through all these ups and downs and deal with all this stuff, and then Alabama's just going to win it again. So it seems kind of weird. I'm having this weird thing about spectator sports in general, because it's like, it's such a long journey of like hope that always crumbles. I mean, if you think about it, it's like, yeah, I guess you can win a bowl game or whatever, but in order to be the best, it's just like, I mean, I've been rooting for the Brewers for, I don't know, 35, 40 years, and they were in the World Series in 1982, and I haven't seen them even close to there since. So, I mean, what's the point? It can really be like this deflating. You trick yourself, almost into thinking this is the year and this is the year, and I know, I guess Cub fans know that as well, but it's like, I'm kind of over it. I mean, I lost the whole thing with the Brewers a long time ago. I'm kind of getting there with this college football thing too, and with all the TV timeouts and replays and all that stuff, I'm just losing interest in watching it. And plus, I'm getting more into training, even though my Saturday was sucky. But anyway, I watched some football, and I ended up falling asleep just after 9 o'clock on Saturday, which is crazy nights for me. And woke up the next day. We were riding at 6. I fell asleep at 9, let's say 9:30, and I literally woke up at 6:10, and it's a 40-minute drive. So I was 10 minutes late when I woke up. So needless to say, they took off, and I got out there maybe just a little bit after 7, and I felt great, actually. So 4.5 hours, 5,300 feet on Saturday in a brick run. And Sunday, I didn't think I'd be able to do it, but I got out there, and I actually, with that sleep, and, I ate a lot afterwards, and, just laid around and rested. And it's amazing, really, what sleep can do. And so it was, it was scheduled as kind of an easy ride, so that may have psychologically been a benefit for me too. But I went out, and I'm not saying I rode hard, but I rode strong, and I felt good. And I did almost 4 hours, 350 or something like that, and I just felt good, and I felt like sharper afterwards. And it was weird how within, I guess, 24 hours you can just go through that kind of a change. So that's the point, I think, of this whole thing, is that when you're really down on a workout, when things just don't feel good, just kind of get back to square one and get some recovery and get some good sleep, and you just, come back. And I think that, on a microcosm level, that's the same thing that happens in a Ironman. So I'm just trying to take these lessons, and, if you're not feeling good, back down a little bit, fuel up, get your brain straight, and then just go back at it. So that's where I'm at, 27 days out. As Jamie points out, he's tired after a long swim this morning. I have been up pretty early, which is kind of another byproduct of getting up a few days in a row early. I think you kind of start getting in a groove, and that's the next step for me. Little things like I got to stay on top of, rolling out and rest, and, just, little exercises and core work and things like that, and just kind of mix them into my day. I was thinking about this the other day. I was thinking about, well, okay, I want to knock out like 100 push-ups every day. And that's mainly kind of for my core and for the swim. And I don't want to do it all. I don't have to do it all at once. If I just do 25 right now and 25 later and 25 this afternoon and maybe 25 at bedtime or whatever, just kind of keep in that groove, because I really think that you can get out of balance. And I think that we neglect our cores a lot of time, and we neglect our upper body strength. And I think that really seems to help me with swimming. So that's kind of where I'm at, but it's kind of getting down to it. I got one more week of this week is pretty huge, and then next week's pretty big, and then it's kind of like I kind of have a slow burn into a taper with, I guess, 2.5 weeks left or something. But I'm excited. I feel good. I feel healthy, and I'm optimistic about the race. I'm real excited about going to Chattanooga next weekend to watch everybody again, and that always inspires me. If you haven't been to a race and you're doing one, I suggest that you try to get one. Or if you're thinking about doing an Ironman, go watch one, because it will definitely inspire you. And that helped me last weekend at Wisconsin, and now I am going to Chattanooga next week. So I like to get that it'll make me real kind of anxious and get, ready to go. But it's always good. And I am Mike with the co-host of the Crushing Iron podcast, which we are about to record here shortly. And it will be out later today, every Monday and Thursday. And if you have any questions, I am crushingiron@gmail.com is my email. We have a close Facebook group, which is pretty cool. You just search Crushing Iron Group on Facebook, and then we will let you in there. And check out the podcast, Crushing Iron Podcast. We have 197 or 98 episodes. This might actually be 199 today, which is incredible. Every Tuesday or Monday and Thursday for 2 years. I feel pretty good about that. That's like commitment. That's like my swim commitment today that I have. I'm going to bust out another 3,500 today. Alrighty. That's kind of weird. I think I have a little run too. It's quote unquote a little recovery day. I have a 45-minute run and a 3,500 meter or 3,500 swim, which just cracks me up to think about that as a recovery day, considering where I came from. But it's going to happen. Anyway, Crushing Iron Podcast. Check out crushingiron.com for all of our stuff. Keep an eye open for our Crushing Iron store coming out with some gear soon. And thanks for checking in. Keep at it, and we will talk to you later. Thanks.